When you're a real estate agent that works with buyers, you're gonna run into those buyers that want you to show them 50, 75, 100 homes. But as a top producing agent or aspiring top producing agent, your job is not to show them those 50, 75, 100 homes. Your job is to be the professional in the room and qualify the properties that get sent over to you. So today, before you hop into that car and go and show that 30th home to that buyer client that just refuses to make up their mind, we're going to talk about what you need to do before you actually go and show a home. Today, I'm going to show you some shortcuts, and I'm also going to share with you how to qualify the homes before you ever schedule a showing. Now, make sure to stay to the end because I'm going to wrap this up in a nice little bow for you. So let's set the scene real quick. You're working with a buyer. That sounds pretty obvious. And now your buyer has sent you 5 homes from Zillow that they want to go see. So at this point, you've probably already had communication with the buyer, and it's now time to go and see homes. This could be the first time that you're going out and showing property, or this could be the 30th time. But the scenario remains the same. Your buyer has just sent you over 5 Zillow links of properties that they want to go see. Here's what you do next. You find the MLS ID of all 5 properties. And the reason we're doing this is because we want to make our life a lot easier when we're researching these properties. And we're also going to use this information later on whenever we're communicating with the buyer. Now, again, I'm setting a scenario that you got forwarded all these links on text. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on that text and you're going to find the MLS from Zillow. And as you can see right here, the MLS is right there. Now, if your buyers are actually already using your MLS website, fantastic. The strategy is going to be the same. You just need the MLS IDs. So what I usually do is go ahead and pull up all of the MLS IDs in one place. And the entire reason that I'm doing this is so all I have to do is take the MLS IDs, go to the MLS, and go to the hot search link. And then now I'm only looking at the properties that they sent me. Now let's recalibrate for a quick second. Chances are that your MLS is going to look slightly different. Even if you have Netris, which is the North Texas Real Estate Information Systems here in North Texas. But I'm pretty sure that your MLS is going to operate quite similarly. It's just not going to look this exact same way with this exact same interface. Now, the entire reason that I'm doing this is so I can make this much easier for me whenever I'm researching these properties. There's other more manual ways to do this, but for right now, we're trying to be very mindful of our time. And once we have our shortlist gathered up, we need to review the properties that they sent over to us. And the reason that we're doing this is because we need to confirm that the properties that they sent us are 1, available, but 2, actually meet the criteria that they wanted to begin with. Because sometimes listing agents do mess up. Sometimes they'll put that there's no pool, but the picture has a big, incredible pool right then and there. And also, let's face it, sometimes our buyer clients get super frustrated. So they start increasing the budget that they're willing to go. Or sometimes it's not even their fault. Sometimes there's a criteria that we as real estate agents can't actually filter for. So we manually have to search for it. As an example, if they're searching for a 2-story home and they want 2 bedrooms downstairs, there's no filter in most MLSs that can account for that. So again, let's set the scene so we understand what we're talking about. Your buyer clients have sent over 5 properties that they want to go view. So instead of you hopping into your car right away and going and showing those 5 properties, only to find out that 2 of them are already under contract and really 2 of them just don't even make sense. Well, by the time you find that out, you've already gone to 5 properties and wasted an entire day. That's not top producer material. So now that we have our MLS IDs and we have that short list of properties that we need to review, now it's time to review. I like to go ahead and create the shareable URL just in case my computer freezes up or I quickly need to leave and get this link over to my client. So I go ahead and get that URL. This again is something that I just make a habit of and then text it to myself, text it to my clients. Not right now, but in the future, I just go ahead and like to get the this URL. I send this to my clients after I've done all the research and put everything in its place. But again, that's just a little tip here that that you can use. Now we're gonna go back to the map. We're gonna go to the map for the first time and you visually see where they are. Now this visual alone is weight in gold. Why? Well, because now we know where the properties happen to be. They may not be in the boundaries that they wanted to be in to begin with. But more importantly, now we know where they are once we need to schedule them on a showing tour. So we can be a little bit more strategic with our showings. Well, let's continue. I'm going to show you what we look at whenever we look at a property. So we're going to check this home out. First, I review the general information. I see what the original list price is, what the list price is now, and then I check out the amount of beds, the amount of baths, the square footage, what year it was built, the HOA, the size of the lot, the covered garages, and this one has 3 covered garages. So I look at basic information. Oh, and of course, whether it has a pool or not. This is just standard information that I look at. Then I usually just take a glance at this information, but for the most part, I allow the pictures that we're about to explore to tell more of the story. What I put closer attention on is the property description and any private remarks that they have to say. This is going to start telling me the story of what the homeowner situation might be. You're going to see keywords like motivated seller. You're going to see something in the private remarks like the seller needs a lease back. You're going to get some additional intel. And then of course I see how many days on market and if the home is vacant or it has an owner occupying it. Once again, I'm just going over basic information, gathering some intel about that property. Remember, we have to do this to 5 properties, so we have to be pretty quick. The next step in this review is going and checking out the pictures themselves. Pictures are worth 1,000 words, as we know. So I quickly stroll through the pictures and check out the condition of the home. Is there something that stands out? Is there an obscure layout that maybe is not as obvious whenever you are reading the description? So I'll continue going through the home and I see that this particular home doesn't have a ton of updates. So basically, since it was built 2002, not much was done as far as upgrades or updates. Now for the pictures, you're going to be more dependent on what you know about the buyer, what they're looking for. If they've told you that they're looking for a home that's ready to go, that they're not looking to paint, they want to move their boxes immediately in, well, again, the pictures are going to let you know. And of course, it's going to help us verify some information that is not as easily accessible through the description of the MLS. So now we go on to the next part of the analysis, and that is the history of the home. We're gonna see if this home has sold in the past through the MLS. Now the layout, once again, is gonna change depending on where you happen to be practicing real estate. But for us, we just go to the top left-hand side and we see the history of the home. Here I'm seeing that it was originally sold in 2005. Now remember, this home was built in 2002. So that means that they bought this directly from the builder. So this particular home didn't make the MLS inventory. This was purchased directly from the builder. So the first time that it was selling was 3 years after the fact in 2005, and it was a successful sale for that amount. And fast forward 20 years later, it is trying to be sold at this point. And unfortunately, it was unsuccessful. It started at that amount and then it did a price reduction and ultimately it was canceled. Now you can go through and check out that past listing. Oftentimes they'll leave you the pictures of the home as well, so you get to see what it looked like in the past. And with canceled listings, it's not uncommon to see a different description, a different scenario, and a different agent, which is the case right here. Now, truth be told, I don't go into each one of the MLS listings until I know from my buyer that they actually want to move forward. Right now, I'm just trying to get a general overview. Now I'm just trying to get the Cliff Notes version. But I do know one thing here. I know that they tried to sell last year and they were unsuccessful. Now they're trying to sell again. So a clearer picture is starting to form with this particular home. That's why we go into the history. Now, once we've gotten into the history and briefly analyzed what's going on with the property, we're going to see if they have any documents attached with the listing. Now, typically you would see those right there if there were any documents. So for this particular listing, there isn't, which brings us right into the next step right before scheduling. And that's reaching out to the listing agent, using their information here, reaching out to the listing agent and asking if the home is still available. And the verbiage that I like to use is very simple. Hey Blake, it's Jaime with eXp Realty. Hope you're well. Are you currently working offers on your listing on blank and blank street? And after this, we move on to that next property. We review the property information. We check out the description along with the private remarks. We check out the photos of the property. We go into the history of the property and we see if there's any documentation that is added to the listing that we need to review, which in this scenario that we're going through is going to happen 5 times over. We're going to do that for every single one of these listings. Now you may be thinking, well, Jaime, that sounds like an overkill. Every time I get 5 listings from a buyer, I just get into my car and then I go and show them. Right now, you might think that that's easier. Right now, you might be thinking, well, that's actually faster. But the reality is that you're wasting a lot of time. Once you get good at reviewing these properties, it's going to take you 5 to 8 minutes per property. And that 5 to 8 minutes can save you at least an hour by not having to go and see that property that might not be available, or in reality is not even within the criteria that the buyers wanted to begin with. So once you've gone through all of the 5 properties at this point and messaged the listing agents to see if the home is still available or what offers they're making, you're going to wait for an hour before you come back in and start working on this project again, because it is going to take some time for the listing agents, all 5 of them, to respond to you. So let's assume that all of these agents are on fire and on top of their game, and all of them reached back out to you within that hour. Well, if they did, and it seems that all systems go, meaning that all the homes are still available, none of the listings have any offers on them, we move into scheduling. Now we actually schedule the showings. And the pro tip here, whenever you're scheduling your showings, you're going to alternate between those homes that are occupied by the owner and those that are vacant. And the reason you're doing this is because in the event that your client is an habitual showing up late type of a client, well, you need to build in some buffer time between showings. As an example, if you know your buyer is late to all of your appointments, don't make your first appointment be the appointment that has an owner occupied in it. Make it a vacant home. The MLS itself tells you if the home is vacant, and oftentimes you're able to tell by the pictures themselves because there's nothing in the home. Now, because you did your homework ahead of time where you're only looking at these 5 properties that they're interested in, you're quickly able to see what homes you probably need to go and check out first and what homes in the order that they need to be seen. So it's very easy for you to take this information and start scheduling through your showing service. Now we, as an example, we have 2. We have showing time and we have broker bay. So this is right here, showing time. So we just click on that and schedule the time that we want to go see it. So let's see if there's another home here that's on broker bay so you can see the difference. There's broker bay. So we just click on that and schedule when we want to go see the home. Now, once you make your request, they're not all going to get approved. And that's okay, that's part of it. Sometimes the listing agents are the one that are approving the showing. Sometimes it's the homeowners themselves. So it might take some time. But once you have this intel and this information back, now it's time to communicate this with your buyers, which brings us full circle into that shortcut link that I shared earlier. If I have the schedule ready to go, all I do now is go back to the properties again. We have the shortlist right here. We're going to go here. We're going to do a hot sheet right fast, select all the properties. We're going to share that link. We're going to generate that link, which again, we've already done and emailed it to or texted it to ourselves. But now we're going to generate it again. And this is the link that we now send over to the client. And then you let them know the order of the showings based off of what you already scheduled through showing time or broker bay, or directly with the listing agent. That's also a third way to go and schedule this. And that's how you save hours and hours of your time and are able to work with as many buyers as your heart desires. And if you found value in this video, go ahead and comment buyers down below. And hopefully I'll see you in this video next.